state if they have any conflict of interest on anything on the agenda this evening?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Up for adoption this evening, we have ordinance 02-2022. This is the fiscal year 22-23 operating budget. I'll entertain a motion and please specify.
Motion to approve the fiscal year 22-23 operating budget.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Very good. Any discussion on the operating budget? Very good. Is there anything additional from staff on the budget?
No, sir.
Very good. On the motion from Councilwoman Foster and the second from Councilwoman Fuller, ordinance 02-2022, the fiscal year 22-23 operating budget. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Very good. Moving on to ordinance 03-2022. This is the fiscal year 22-23 water sewer rate. As previously stated, this will remain the same as the previous year. I'll entertain a motion and please specify.
Motion to approve?
And do I have a second, please?
Second.
Very good. Is there any discussion on the water sewer rate? All right. Hearing none on the motion to approve from Mayor Pro Tem Vigliotti and the second from Councilwoman Foster on ordinance 03-22, fiscal year 22-23 water sewer rate. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Excellent. And our final budget-related ordinance for the evening, we have ordinance 04-2022. This is the fiscal year 22-23 tax rate. Reminder again, that is slated to remain the same as the previous year. And I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
And do I have a second, please?
Second.
Very good. Is there any discussion on the FY 22-23 tax rate? All right. Hearing none, on the motion to approve from Councilman Haynes and the second from Councilwoman Fuller on ordinance 04-2022, the fiscal year 22-23 tax rate, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Excellent. Next, we have ordinance 05-2022. This is the Main Street Advisory Board. I will entertain a motion, and please state the motion.
Motion to approve the Main Street Advisory Board, or the establishment of the Main Street Advisory Board.
I'll accept that. Do I have a second to that motion?
Second?
Very good. I'll open the floor for comments.
Just to reiterate, I think what we discussed Wednesday night, there will be a point coming up at which we will discuss the specific duties of positions such as the Main Street Manager, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Thank you.
Once we have an opportunity to put the board together, their first task will be to come up with, I don't want to say bylaws, but essentially their rules of operation, which will then come back for our approval.
Thank you.
Very good. Any additional discussion? All right, hearing none, on the motion to approve ordinance 05-2022, the Main Street Advisory Board, from Councilwoman Foster, and the second from Mayor Pro Tem Vigliotti. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Very good. Finally, up for adoption this evening, we have Resolution 2022-04. This is our monthly water allocation for the month of April. I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
And may I have a second, please?
Second.
Is there any discussion on the water allocation for April? Hearing none, on the motion to approve Resolution 2022-04, the water allocation for April from Councilman Haynes, with a second from Councilwoman Fuller. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Very good. Whipped right through our business of adoption this evening. So next, I'll throw it over to our city manager, Mr. Weeper. Do you have anything for us this evening, sir?
Just a quick update on the CIP, the Capital Improvement Program. We are working to refine some of the estimates for the infrastructure projects with CDM Smith, our engineer. Now that we have the cleaning and televising of the sewer lines done and the report is in, we're going through updating costs based on how much we can line and how many point repairs and things like that there are. So those numbers will get a little bit more solid over the coming month, and I hope to have a revised version out to you in advance of next month's workshop so that everybody has a chance to look things over. And again, if you have any questions, concerns about what's in there or not in there, and we will be adding something for Antrim Boulevard as we discussed. But otherwise, please let me know if you have any questions, concerns, additions going forward.
Mr. Mayor, point of order, if I
Yes,
might,
sir.
actually to that point, with the adding the bypass as a CIP, is that something that we should vote on to add to the CIP? Or is it simply through majority consent that it would be added?
I think simply through consensus to direct staff to include it in the CIP. That way, it'll come back to us for our approval as part of the whole package.
Okay, and I'm sorry, and the point of order was I didn't know whether I should bring that up now or under old business, so.
Your point of order is accepted and dealt with accordingly.
That's it.
That's all from Ms. Weeper. Do we have any questions for the city manager on his report or the departmental reports as they've been presented to you? All right, nothing further. I'll go to Mr. Gullo. Do you have anything additional for your legal report, sir?
Nothing further to add unless you have questions about what we're dealing with the schools. That's what we talked about last week.
That is true. Do we have any questions for Mr. Gullo? To reiterate, the plan is still to hold the public hearing next month.
That's correct. And not to vote on it and keep the record open. That's what I mean by not voting on it for the extra days. The County Planning Commission is going to hear this next week, and the commissioners 2 days after that, and then like you, they wait a week or so before they decide. So
Right.
things will be happening, and we'll report more at the hearing.
Now, it's being introduced to the commissioners this Thursday. Is that correct? I think I had heard that from a source.
We have conflicting data on that. but-
Very good. Then we'll leave that conflicted.
But I guess the important part is, I guess if we wanted to put a fine point on this, is that if the commissioners do not grant the waiver, the schools may not want to move forward with the annexation or the
Right.
developer. So it could be a deciding factor, although we will still be having the hearing, no matter what.
Okay. It's been advertised, we're doing it.
Yes, we're doing it, that's right.
All right, and since we do not meet weekly as the commissioners do, our public hearing will remain open for 30 days after that public hearing. Okay? Any questions for Mr. Gullo on his legal report or the Sewell's item? Okay. With that, we'll head into our new business. First up, we have our monthly financial report. Can I have a motion to approve the monthly financial report?
Motion to approve?
And may I have a second, please?
Second.
Very good. Is there any discussion or questions on the monthly financial report as it's been presented? All right. Hearing none on the motion to approve the monthly financial report from Mayor Pro Tem Vigliotti and the second from Councilwoman Foster, all in favor of approving signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Very good. Next, we have our accounts payables, and I will entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, I'm sorry, please, Diane, go ahead.
Motion to approve the accounts payable.
Very good. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Is there any discussion or questions on the accounts payables? All right. Hearing none on the motion to approve from Councilman Foster and the second from Councilwoman Fuller, all in favor of approving the accounts payables signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Very good. Final item under new business is a well control system purchase. As this was described, in order for us to better achieve the work to be done on both the water tower and the standpipe, we request an additional system to better control the wells while they are turned off. What is our amount for that?
So the proposal we're looking at is from Gettle Incorporated, and the total is $68,868.
Very good. I will entertain a motion to approve the well control system purchase for $68,868. May I have that motion?
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
All right, we're going to begin with questions and comments. I'm going to start. Have we confirmed that the timeline works in our benefit?
Yes.
Very good. I'll throw it to the council. Do you have any questions or concerns regarding this purchase? Okay. Another question for you. I don't know if you're going to be able to answer this. After the service has been done to the water tower and standpipe, will this provide us additional benefit beyond that period?
Yes, this will give us the ability to remotely turn wells on and off without having somebody drive in. One of the DPW guys who might be on call now would have to come in and manually turn wells on or off if we know that some issue has arisen. Also, we're relying on landlines for alarm dialers and things like that, and this system will replace those, so we won't have the Verizon charges for some of those lines, and some of them are rather expensive to the tune of like $900 a month.
Right.
For some of those, so there will be a cost savings going forward as well.
Okay.
So this system is like a computer?
It's
Radio-
a control module.
Right, basically radio receivers and transmitters, the control modules and programming. So the supervisors in Public Works will be able to get messages on their cell phones when there's an issue on, with one of the wells or the standpipe or the water tank. And they'll be able to remotely tell which wells are currently pumping, if there's a problem at one of the wells, or if the well is just idle at that point. So it's a pretty robust system that can be expanded to also, and we would have to purchase additional equipment to do this, but we could also incorporate the sewer pumping stations into this system, so we would know, again, if there's an issue with the York Street pumping station or the Carroll Vista station or Windy Hills, something like that, we would know right away, where sometimes those auto dialers using the telephone system don't get the messages through all the time. So it's expandable as well.
So is there a cost to beyond this $68,000 to maintain it?
This gets us up and running, and it's not software as a service. So we would own all of this hardware, and they will program it for us up front. So recurring or additional costs would be if we want to expand the system or add in some additional capability that wasn't part of the original proposal.
Okay.
Or if there's a problem with the system over time.
Certainly.
Correct. There's no maintenance contract associated with this, or?
Right. There is a, let's see if I have it in front of me here. That is, so unlike software as a service, where in that case, if we pay a monthly fee, subscribe, whenever there are updates, they're pushed out to us, as part of that subscription. So with this one, if we do require programming tweaks or something like that, that would be out of pocket down the road.
Right.
Just looking at the
I'm
proposal
thinking
for
suppose
warranty.
for whatever reason it stops working.
Right.
On a quick side note, while Jim is doing that, I did a little bit of the math, and that $900 a month that we'd be saving because of the phones, it's almost $11,000 a year. Almost $11,000 a year.
Well, that's just for one line that costs that. The others aren't quite as much, but yes, it's,
And so with the $68,000, so about 6 1/3 years, that'll end up saving what we do with the phone line. We'll pay for this within 6 1/3 years, 6 1/3 years.
right. In addition to the increased abilities.
Right.
So installation and programming is warranted for a year. The equipment is warranted by the manufacturer.
Which may
so
vary by
that's
part.
Right, so I don't have the specifics on each piece of equipment. But the programming and installation is a year warranty.
And for clarification, this will occur at both water storage units, is that correct?
So it's going to be at the elevated water tank on Break Iron Street.
Right.
But then also it's not going to be at the standpipe. The controls are going to be located in the park at wells 11 and 12.
Okay,
So we'll have them at basically opposite ends of the system.
okay.
That's what Public Works felt was the best location for the second one, that it doesn't have to be right at the standpipe.
Okay. But it'll serve the same purpose, just not
Right,
physically
right.
at the
It's right.
standpipe.
It's as much for overall system pressure, but to be able to read it from basically from both ends of the system.
Okay. Very good.
And actually, Jim, I did have one brief question. Toward the end of your memo on this, it talked about the design and installation of a corral on the tank. Is the corral that we're talking about, I guess, something to keep wires together, or is it something else completely?
That's how the cellular antennas are going to be mounted going forward. On the standpipe, we may still have to have additional mounting hardware because there are so many antennas on that one and the radius is limited. But basically, it's going to be like a rail on top of the tank and standpipe that all the antennas mount on there, instead of there being kind of a hodgepodge for some are up at the top, some are on bands, 2/3 of the way up. This basically puts them all on this additional infrastructure that's at the top of the tank. And then going forward, if we do have to do touch-up coatings or recoat the tank or standpipe again, in the future, the antennas won't have to come down again because they'll be away from the body of the tank.
Thank you very much. That makes sense.
All right, any additional questions on this topic? All right. We'll call for the vote on the motion to move forward with a well control system purchase at $68,868 from Councilman Fuller and the second from Councilman Foster. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Very good, proceed. With that, we'll move into our council member reports. We're going to begin with Councilman Haynes. What do you have for us this evening, sir?
Don't have anything to report tonight. However, just a friendly reminder that Cinco de Mayo opened up. Be sure to check them out. I hear good things. But that is all from me.
Very good. Councilwoman Foster, what do you have for us?
Public Works, I suppose I know, will have their numbers from the contractor in well enough time for your CIP next month.
That's the plan, yes.
Okay. And I meet this week with Habitat. We did get, several applications for the new building, Taneytown. So we're meeting to go over the applicants and qualify them and hopefully pick two. That meeting occurs on Thursday. So more to come.
Very good. And Mayor Pro Tem Vigliotti, what do you have for us this evening?
I have both the training and departmental report for the Taneytown Police Department for the month of March 2022. So with respect to training and education, all patrol officers took cultural awareness and diversity overview classes, as well as ethics and law enforcement. With regards to specialized training, on March 8th, Sergeants Kessler, Senior Patrol Officer Sacadalis, Corporal Schaefer, Patrolman First Class DeLospedale, and Patrolman First Class Leaks took the Taser 7 CEW Operator Course, Initial Training and Certification. Corporal Schultz, Patrolman First Class Williams, Patrolman First Class Romero, and Patrolman First Class Myers took Taser 7 CEW Operator Course, Initial Training and Certification. Corporal Castlear took the Patrol Rifle Operators Course, which is a 28-hour course, and was able to provide the Patrol Rifle Operators Course to officers from Mount Airy, Manchester, and Hempstead. And the Police Administrative Assistant Haley Angles took courses in active shooters and conflict resolution. With respect to the departmental report itself, the total number of dispatcher-generated calls for service in March were 355. The total number of citations issued were 49. The total number of warnings issued were 40. The total number of adult arrests were 9, and the total number of juvenile arrests were 1. With respect to community outreach, the police department had the pleasure of hosting Naima Cotton as an administrative assistant intern. She successfully completed the week-long internship and was very engaging in the program. And then from a personal standpoint, Relay for Life will be occurring this year. The closest event that we have coming up with respect to Relay for Life will be on Saturday, May 7th, where participating businesses in Taneytown will donate 10% of all sales to the American Cancer Society for our Relay for Life program. And I want to remind everybody that in 2 weeks, the History Museum will be having their seasonal opening. And I have more information about that if anybody wants it. And that's it for me, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilwoman Fuller, what do you have for us this evening?
Okay, we had our Easter egg hunt this past weekend. There were easily over 300 children in attendance, along with the adults that they dragged along. Big success, even though the rain kind of held off, but spit occasionally. Now we have our Earth Day cleanup coming up Saturday, April 23rd from 1 to 3, followed by a cookout for the volunteers. And then our fishing derby will be May 7th. The Wine Fest, again, is going to be May 21st, and discount tickets can be purchased through City Hall at Taneytown Liquors. And if you go online using the link through the Parks and Rec Facebook page, and I believe there's one through the city's calendar, if you can find it there. A lot of the other projects that we have that are ready to go are being held up by rain. So tennis courts, basketball courts, everything that's getting ready, simply waiting for the weather to start cooperating. And then we'll be back on track for that. And then obviously, if you have any questions about times or dates, you can always go to the Parks and Rec Facebook page. And that is it for me.
All right. Thank you very much. I do want to expand on that. The Easter egg hunt was a tremendous success on Saturday. We had a park full of children. We had an Easter bunny. We had all sorts of prizes and goodies going around. It rained a couple days leading up to it, so the ground was a bit soft and soggy, but I don't think it stopped anybody. I didn't hear any complaints. I think people were happy, and that's what I like to see. I want to thank not just Lorena, but the Parks and Rec Advisory Board and the spouses of those involved with the Parks and Rec Advisory Board for all the work that they did helping us out on Saturday. A reminder from the state level, today is Sine Die. It's the last day of the session. My understanding from Senator Reedy is that they're going to be in there until midnight tonight, burning that midnight oil, and then I'm sure they'll celebrate once they finish that. This Wednesday, I'll be very pleased to be presenting to the 4th grade at Taneytown Elementary School. An annual thing that we do as part of MML is that we like to go talk to the 4th graders and tell them what it's like to be mayor, get their input, answer all sorts of questions. Generally, they ask me what my favorite flavor of ice cream is.
Important stuff.
That's about the depth of the questions that I get. But it's a great event, get them engaged in the community and let them understand exactly what a mayor does, then also what a city council does as well. So I'm excited to be doing that this year. And then lastly, I just want to say to everybody, I hope you have a happy and safe Easter. Spring is here. You can tell by all the rain. We're getting some nicer weather, warmer weather. But most importantly, I hope you can spend some time with your family and friends this weekend as part of the Easter holiday. And with that, I have nothing more to report.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes,
on
Councilwoman.
The 4th grade visits, I know the school was holding you up
Yep.
from visiting, but when you go this year, could you kind of like get them to get on board next year? We never
Right.
have any students from Taneytown participate in the essay contest. We read essays last week,
Right.
so they're out of it.
And we sent all the information, and it's getting better. We'll say that. I mean, last year I wasn't able to visit Taneytown. I ended up having to do my visit at Mother Seton last year, which is great because the day before the mayor of Emmitsburg did his there. So we kind of had,
But it would be nice
Back
if
to
we
back.
could get some.
we're gonna
Taneytown
try to
kids
push a little harder next year.
Okay.
So, very good. I appreciate that. And what she's referring to is there's an essay contest through MML the Maryland Municipal League. If I were mayor, it's asking all of the fourth grade students across the state to submit an essay saying if they were mayor, what they would do. And I haven't seen any of the essays for this year, but generally it's, things with parks or restaurants or all sorts of interesting ideas that they come up with. But it's fascinating to hear what they have to say. Sometimes they're good ideas or they're really on the right track. They're just not quite. But yeah, I agree with you. We need to push a little harder for our local schools, and not just Taneytown, but Runnymede Elementary as well, as probably half our population goes there as well. So very good. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn for the evening.
So moved. Second.
Very good. All in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Thank you all. Have a great week and happy Easter.